Hello everybody, my name is Rob Nixon and congratulations for joining us today on a very special webinar. Today I've called this Rising Tides, specifically what's going on in the accounting profession, a lot of big topics, I've got 12 topics for you, and what accountants need to do to remain relevant in the future. That'll give you a flavour of the actual event. Today I'm joined by four innovative accountants, Russell Willett from Willett Partners in Perth. We've got Sue McKean from PG&A Accountants on the Gold Coast, Ben Walker from Inspire CA in Brisbane, and Albert Geigel from MW Partners in Melbourne. So hello, my panellists. How are you?
Hello, Rob. Very well.
All good? All right. So what we're going to do first, team, is before we get into the topic, just to give everyone a sense of who you are, I'd like just a quick 30-second summary of your firm, your size of the firm, maybe years you've been around, people numbers, partner numbers, that sort of stuff. Just a quick summary. Russell, and we don't have a photograph of you, Russell, for some reason, but we've got your logo there. So Russell, we'll go left to right, start with you.
Okay, hi Rob. Our firm's got a three-partner firm with 9 professionals and 3 support staff. We specialise in small medium business and remote accounting for remote mining towns in WA. Been around for about 10 years now, and growing all the time. It's been terrific.
All right, super. All right, thank you very much. Sue, over to you.
Sole practitioner business. It was 2-partner, 1 partner at one stage, back to me as a principal. 3 technical team, 3 in our admin team. We've got an integrated financial planning division and insurance division. And we're on the Gold Coast, and we're just a general practice.
And what sort of size are you, Sue?
There's 3 technical apart from me and 3 full-time admin.
So 7 people in total, and we've got 15 over with Russell. Cool, thank you. Ben, over to you.
G'day, Rob. G'day, Rob. I actually started my firm 4 months ago, so pretty fresh. Sole practitioner. I've got 1 support staff, 1 accountant, and we've been kicking goals I never thought were possible. So, yeah, it's been great.
I love your website, by the way, as well, Ben. Awesome job at that.
Thanks, Rob.
I gather the little bloke at the front is not one of your team members on the video.
No, he isn't. That's just the stock zero video from the US.
Got it. Well done, and we'll come back to you on the growth and some of the things that you're tackling with as a brand new firm as well. And Albert, last but not least, give us a quick summary on your firm.
We're a small practice in Melbourne, in South Yarra. We specialise very heavily into dentists and dental surgeries. We're actually based at the Australian Dental Association head office here in South Yarra. We've been going since 2005. We've got a team of 4 also specialised accountants, look after everything a dentist could need.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, team, listening in, we've had about 560 firms register for this webinar. So normally about 4 people per firm listening, so about 1,200 people or so. And the firms represented here today are very much a cross-section. And just so you know, everyone, and that my panellists here will agree with me, we have done no rehearsal to this whatsoever. So I'm as intrigued as you may be as to what's going to transpire as a result of this conversation. Now, as we get going, just need to make sure that you can all hear us. So on your chat box there, if you can, because we're going to ask you some questions as well, put up your click your hand button just to make sure that the volume is coming through loud and clear. If you could do that, that'd be great. One of my moderators will tell me whether that's the case or not, that everyone can hear. Good to go. Thank you very much. All right, great. So let's begin. So team, I've called this Rising Tide. So there's a conversation between myself and these 4 wonderful partners of accounting firms. Although some of these firms may be bigger or smaller than you listening in, it doesn't matter. I find in this industry that even the biggest of the big 4 firms have the same issues and opportunities going on as the smallest of the small firms, or in Ben's case, the newest of the new firms, being only 4 months young. So I'm going to take you through 12 topics that I see as a provider of services to the industry that are going to really affect now and in the future the actual profession, and we're going to get some commentary from each of our 4 panelists here as to what they believe about that and what they're doing about it. So this is unrehearsed, and this is very much buckle in and let's see what you're doing in each of these 12 areas. So I see these as, I've called it rising tides, because in a rising tide could be a growth opportunity, or it could be like a tsunami sucking the water out. And in this case, that's a bit of both. Now, the first thing I see is that bookkeepers. With changing technology, I have a question here. Are bookkeepers going to be dinosaurs in the future or competitors? And what I mean by that is, with technology becoming so prevalent, the need for the data entry person is becoming less and less. And as well as that, bookkeepers are charging, and there may be some bookkeepers listening in, you may want to challenge your business model. Bookkeepers charge you $60 an hour when I can get that work done, if it needs data entry, for $5 and $7 an hour offshore. With that, we look at competitors. Bookkeepers actually provide a very good, valuable service to the business community, real-time reporting, and if they were to upgrade their skills, could they compete against the accounting profession? That's number 1 out of 12 points. Number 2, what's called the MOOCs. Around the world, massive online open courses are delivering free education to the masses. Harvard, you can get a $100,000 course that you'd normally go to Harvard for in the United States for free. The biggest aggregator of this content is a company called Coursera. They have 3.6 million students that they signed up since April last year. That's 13 months flat. So what does that mean for the accounting profession? Well, what it means is I can get education as a client of yours for free, no need to pay for it, if I just search around the internet. Number 3, self-managed super funds. Up until about a year ago, or even say 2 years ago, firms were selling self-managed super funds, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 setup, including plus an audit every year as well. That's all changed. Low-cost online providers are doing that for $400, $500, $600, and $800. Why would I, as a business person in Australia, if I've got a self-managed super fund, pay $3 grand when I get the same thing done elsewhere for $500? Number 4, graduates. Article published in the Financial Review last week stated that 40% of graduates, or sorry, 40% of students coming out of university could not be placed as a graduate. What does this mean and why? Why? It was stated that a lot of firms are offshoring a lot of their low-level activities. So does that mean we have a glut of accountants in the future? That's going to be interesting. Number 5, succession planning. 50% of all partners are over 55 right now. You know, this is growing every single year. Half the partnership base is about 20,000 partners, and in the country, out of 11,000 firms, half of them are over 55. Massive succession planning issue and opportunity in the future. Number 6, social change. Those firms on the line, we've got a couple hundred on already. Ask your team members. New KPI for you. Who wants to be a partner in the future? I can almost guarantee you, we're about to get commentary on this from our leading 4 firms here, that if you ask your team members that 10 years ago versus today, that, and for some reason my slide is paused, I apologize about that, thank you team. For some reason, internet social change has changed behavior of team members, and consequently, they don't want to be partners 10 years later. Internet advice. You go to Uncle Google or Auntie Google, and they can get answers. As a business person, I can search whatever I want to search in a second without even asking you those things I used to ask you 5 or 10 years ago. Number 8, time times rate. If you still operate under this model of charging in the past and charging, for things that you've done in the past, you're operating in the dark ages. You're operating in the past. It's a model that's dead. Number 9, light data. Here we have, with technology, the ability to transport data around the world with no disk, no stick, no 2 gigabyte file anymore. I can send data around the world. In fact, it's been a recent CCH survey, who we're partnering with on our Remaining Relevant seminar, or they're partnering with us, showed that 14% of SMEs have an online internet-based accounting system of some sort. The data is now light, which means light data is easy to transport, and also light data is easy to have competitors come to your space as well. Number 10, switching costs. Now more than ever, and it's just going to get more of this, it's easy to change accountants. You know, it's not as the mystical thing that you used to do. The data's easy to be changed. It's the switching costs are far less. Expect in the future a lot of clients who are far more knowledgeable asking questions of you and not putting up with the service that you may have offered in the past. And the two biggies, if that wasn't enough, number 11, globalization. I've got a friend who runs a $3 million business here in Brisbane, and he has a full-time CPA, 6-year experience, who works for him in the Philippines, who charges him $12 an hour. I know of people who are sending their entire accounting function, their business people, offshore. Why would I pay, as my friend said to me, why would I pay a local accountant $200 an hour for a CFO function when I can get it done for $12 an hour somewhere in the Philippines or other countries as well? Globalization is going to be massive with offshore workers. I've just come back from a trip to the Philippines myself about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it employs 800,000 people in the outsourcing world and going to 1.3 million people, very clever people, highly educated people, doing work for companies all over the world. And number 12, technological convergence. Technologies coming together. And these technologies being cloud accounting, cloud CRM, cloud logistical management, so warehousing, barcoding, etc., and cloud point of sale, or a method of those goods and services scanned, etc., at the outset. So an example of that, I've got another friend who has 45 people employed, and what he does here, he has just built a software application that brings together all of his ordering, all of his accounting, linked into his various databases, and his truck drivers who deliver the goods are now taking orders as they're driving into the retail shop car park, where previously needed a lot of people and noticed to do that. I asked him casually, how many people will this help you to not need in the future? He said 12. I will not need to hire 12 people in the future because of this technological convergence I've got coming together. So, with that in mind, lots of things going on. Let's have some commentary. And I'm interested with our 4 panelists, and I'm going one at a time just so we can keep it, the noise factor, etc. One at a time. Out of any one of those, what are you doing in your firm to make a difference, to remain relevant, and to combat that? So, Russell, over to you first.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. What we're doing in our firm is we're currently going through a strategy of approaching our existing business clients and trying to offer them more value-added services. So move away from the compliance work more into advisory, and showing them the true value of what we can give, what we can do for them each month or each quarter, rather than doing it once a year compliance work. We've also gone away from time billing to fixed price value-based billing, which we've had a great response from our clients. They've all actually appreciated the change, so they know exactly what they're paying for compliance work, and they pay us monthly for their monitoring systems. We're also coaching all our junior staff into looking beyond the tax returns into what else the client can achieve by working with our business. So really a mix of training our intermediates and juniors up through the levels and recoaching our senior staff in the same way of thinking.
Okay, so with the value-added services, why are you offering value-added services to your clients?
I believe the compliance work's really becoming outdated. As you said, Rob, offshore processing, bookkeepers, software, cloud accounting, all those facets, especially zero accounting as well. It won't be long before they start launching tax software for some of these guys. You've already got BAS agents to prepare BAS returns. Some bookkeepers are discovering are becoming so skilled now, when a client brings their books to us, they expect their accounting fee for compliance work to be much lower than what it will be in prior years, because they've got such a good bookkeeper now. So it's very hard for us to get more and more difficult to justify a charge. That's why we've gone straight across to the business advisory, saying that's just a compliance job. We get a fixed price of 3 or 6 or 10 grand a year. This is where we add the value. We can guide you on your KPIs, from GP ratios to staff ratios, notify you of the change in trend in your business, sit down with you, identify where the hole in the bucket is, so to speak, and patch that up. So we advise them. We had clients about a fortnight ago, same issue. We noticed his wages had blown out by 21% last quarter. We managed to identify there was an issue where one partner was away, and another partner hired his mate to sit in the workshop as a foreman, and the guy didn't do anything for 3 months. So those sorts of things are where we're finding the value is for our client.
So Russell, really what you're saying there is that because of the social change, technological change, and with compliance, what the other commentators are saying and the software companies are saying, that up to 40% of compliance time will be reduced because of technological change, point number 12. And you're saying, well, we need to add value to that, that product and that client, otherwise we're going to lose them. Is that what you're saying there, Russell?
Absolutely. Spot on there, Rob. We believe compliance work, tax preparation is a very small part of what we can do for a client. Yeah, your bookkeeper is very good. They get the books right, it balances. The HO will do, are also looking at doing online processing for returns in the future for smaller people. So I think it's only a matter of time for the changes where business clients will be able to prepare the returns on their own on the HO websites in the future. So that's a risk to us we've identified, and we thought to get around that problem is to show the client we're not just doing your tax, that's just a small part of what we do for you. We are your support mechanism within your business. You come to us, we guide you, and we help you improve your business throughout the future years, right through succession planning as well. That sort of patches those holes and put a different spin on things. Really makes the compliance work that we do value to the clients and makes our work to the client very much higher value that we're giving them the guidance they require.
And so when, you've been around 15 years, or 10 years, sorry, when did you start doing this with clients?
We've done it really more formally probably the last 6 months since we went to, or 5 months since we went to your seminar, Rob.
Okay,
I did it.
That's been the push for you. Very good.
Yeah, that's actually why we attended. We've been trying to find something for about 4 years. We've been doing spreadsheets ourselves and writing notations and just finding the service level of the presentation wasn't really the level of professionalism we were looking for to make the client understand what we're doing, and which is why we looked at Proactive and went to the Remaining Relevant seminar and the 2-day planning session in Brizzy, and that's really turned our firm around in that regard, and our clients are loving it, and it's changed our whole focus.
Although, Russell, we are always into promoting something good, whether it be a new idea or, you know, maybe an upcoming seminar. I really appreciate that. I do want us to focus on things that you're doing, and if I ask the question like, great, if that's the impetus, awesome, and maybe every other firm in the line might want to do that later on as well, but I'm really keen to understand after 10 years of being, if I may, a reactive accountant, and now you're stepping up to be proactive, what's been the client views on that, the client comments, uptake, all that sort of stuff, because it's quite a shift that you've made in literally 4 or 5 months.
Is the client views that they've been waiting for us to do this sort of thing for them for years. So they wanted us more involved in their businesses, and they're grateful we're actually doing something about it. And whereas previously I would have thought the cost was probably going to outweigh the way in their eyes that what they would perceive as benefit, it's actually the opposite. They're seeing the benefits of what we're presenting to them. So they're happy to pay us more money, more regularly, to see us more regularly, have us more involved. Regards to uptake, we've got a target of 35 clients to achieve in the next 12 months. We're already up to about 15 of those already, with about another 5 more waiting for us to get back to them. So I think we'll exceed our target for the next 12 on the uptake.
Fantastic. Kicking it. Thank you, Russell. Let's go to Sue. Sue, what out of any of these 12 areas, thoughts, comments, what have you been doing about it? I know we've been working together coaching for a couple of years now, or a year or so. What have you been doing to make a difference with your clients under your firm under these 12 areas?
I guess it's early days for us. We're certainly not as far along as Russell is, but you know, we are putting processes in place where we're doing the upfront fixed fee pricing. 2013 we'll be scheduling in all of our work, letting the clients know when we want their work so that we can control the turnaround times and also free up probably my time more so to be out talking to clients about their businesses, using the information in their financial statements, so the compliance work as the, I suppose, the impetus for the conversation with them, using Panalytics to actually do a bit of an analysis on the business and start the conversation with them, which is, you know, it's something that we have been trying to implement in this business for a number of years, but we've just never got there. And the time came where we said, no, we've got to do this because the industry is changing so much because of those 12 areas that you have spoken about. And it's fun work. It's much more satisfying than, you know, just presenting a set of financial statements and tax returns to a client and saying this is how much tax you owe. I already have a reasonable base of our A-class clients that I do visit on a quarterly basis and have discussions with them. I now need to make that more structured and get them onto a monthly monitoring type system. But also just having more conversations with clients around their succession planning, their estate planning, the awesome 8 that Proactive Accountants Network has devised, and also getting our junior people to start opening up their mind to different opportunities when they're working on a client's work.
So Sue, what's been the client remarks with this? And by the way, people listening in, you're more than welcome if you go to the chat session to ask questions of any of the presenters or the panelists or myself, and I'll keep a monitor on those as they come through, and I'll ask them directly for you. So please go to the chat area in the little box down the bottom and ask questions as you need to. And I'm actually going to ask you a question, all the hundreds of people listening in. First of all, out of these 12, before I come back to Sue, out of these 12, how many of them, or what percentage of them, do you think are right for your marketplace? So if you said 100%, that's 12 out of 12. If you said 80%, that's 10 out of 12. 50%, 6 out of 12. Just put a percentage in there to say, okay, I believe in 60% of those, 70% of those now. All right, so do that, and we'll get a bit of a poll coming through from one of the moderators. So Sue, back to you. You've been having conversations with clients. You've been definitely pricing up front, etc., which is something that we promote all the time. Same question I asked Russell. What's been the feedback from clients? What's been the uptake from clients as to what they're interested in?
I guess from our clients' point of view, it's been sort of a bit of a surprise having the new conversations with them, because we haven't previously, although we would always talk about the business. But when you actually start pointing things out, clients are quite surprised at some of the ratios and some of the things that come out of the Panalytics reports. And most people are just so busy running their business that they just never have time to look at this stuff. So certainly the conversation is very positive, and people love talking about their businesses. I guess the issue I have is that I feel like I need to come up with all of the answers, and that's not what it's all about. The clients need to come up with the answers for their businesses. We just need to facilitate it. But certainly the upfront fixed fee, we did have some positive feedback from clients saying it's about time you did that. That's a great idea. The scheduling, although we're only starting it for the 2013 year, clients have been positive about that. We started talking to them about saying we'll work together to decide when we'll be doing your work. They think that's a great idea as well. So it's all very, very positive.
Thank you. So first of all, I've got a couple of questions coming through, which I'll ask in a minute. First of all, the participants agree about 75 to 80% of my list of 12 is real for them now, which is awesome. Right on the money there. Tony's asked a question about what is Panalytics. Tony, Panalytics is actually a tool, a cloud software tool that our firms use, and that's all about adding value to compliance, so making compliance come alive. It's all about helping you to do one-page planning with your clients, and then delivering value-added services using this tool as well. So that awesome tool there, which we're not really talking about today, but certainly we can show you later on if we need to, if that's of interest to you. So Lyndall, good question. Lyndall has said, and Lyndall to a more proactive approach and going to clients rather than being reactive. Cracking question. So Sue, let's start with you, then I'm going to go back to Russell on that one. Because team behaviour is certainly going to be a big one to make a difference to your firm. So what have you done, Sue, to, other than, of course, I know you sent them to the Remaining Relevant seminar, but what else have you been doing to, get team engagement, so to speak?
That's probably the major effect from working with you and the PAN team. For us is just the change in the team. I mean, we do our quarterly themes now, which we did from the time we started we did the Kickstart workshop back in September. They absolutely love these themes. They all embrace it. We have a very good time putting the themes together. We're much more goal-oriented. we're much more conscious of achieving the goals that we have set down. From working with PAN, it's opened up their minds to all of the other opportunities for our clients and for the business. And
what, for you, have you been doing to get team engagement, Russell? Sonia, if you can unmute Russell, please.
Sorry?
Oh, Russell, you're good to go now. Someone
Good
else is controlling this. Yep, so what have you been doing in the last 4 or 5 months to get team engagement, Russell?
We've introduced a lot of strategies such as
All right, we've got major audio issues on our end, on both ends here. I'm not too sure what's going on. Okay, everything's back up now. So, Sonia, can you unmute Ben, please, and mute yourself? Thank you, Ben. Right, you're alive, Ben. Not too sure what's going on with audio. We've got 6 offices going on here, all connecting through. So, thank you, everyone, for your perseverance. So, Ben, you're a brand new firm, and you're 4 months into it. Can you give us a snapshot on these 12 items? What you're doing differently, what are you doing in your firm to combat these social changes and issues?
Yeah, I guess touching on that staff issue we were just talking about, I don't think clients are number one. I think your staff are definitely number one, even before myself at the moment anyway. But I think your key and the power behind your firm is your staff, and just looking after them and just asking them what they want, and in terms of training, in terms of remuneration and stuff like that. And I think it's never an issue when people feel like they're valued, and getting them involved with the team meetings and the direction of the firm as well. And they will actually, and they have bought into the direction and the vision that I've set. So it's it's great.
Okay, so your brand new firm, talk us through the change that you've made from the firm, because brand new firm's fantastic, I know legacy, you've done a fresh start. Did you come from another firm first, Ben, or what's the story there?
Yeah, actually started out in Big Four, then moved to a sole practitioner, and then spent 2.5 years there before establishing this Inspire CA. So I guess the biggest thing I wanted to do was focus on technology, and I saw Xero coming out as well around the same time. It sort of picked up even more and more. So I guess one of the things, my website is a constant work in progress, and I just want to mention as well that when you mentioned it before, Rob, it actually almost crashed it.
What crashed it?
But I think listeners logging on and checking it out, it actually.
Oh right, okay. They've gone for a quick look because I put your website on the front page there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So thanks, everybody. It's a bit of a compliment.
That's classic. So you're focused on technology. You're focused on technology here, Ben. What sort of technology? What are the rules you've set around you working with your clients, for example?
Okay, so the biggest rule is if you become a client of the firm, you have to use Xero. You have no choice. And I think setting the rules, and it's good that I've just started because I don't have any of that sort of resistance. So it's sort of like they don't know any different. So I guess setting the rule.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, web events made easy.
Something that I had resistance about, but it actually has worked out extremely favourably.
So when you say no time billing, you're pricing up front based on value, but you're also collecting up front as well.
Exactly right. So collecting up front for sort of one-off projects and setup costs of establishing Xero or converting, and then most of our business clients go on to a fixed monthly fee, which includes a fair bit there. So all of the sort of necessary evil, the compliance, and then if they want the like the Panalytics that was suggested or the value-added services, that's obviously negotiated on top of the monthly fee. So it's worked out really well.
So a couple of questions coming through for you, early ones here, Ben, because there's a bit of noise around the whole software as a service or cloud accounting, and certainly with 14% of SMEs using that. One of the questions is, have you lost any quality clients who don't wish to use Xero?
No, I haven't. I guess I didn't have many to lose, but in terms of picking them up, the biggest question I've had is to do with security, and my answer to that is that if the banks are willing to trust them and to audit their systems and to send through client data, then the data's safer in Xero than it is in my own office. So that's how I sort of pitch it to them.
And so how's that been with, well, let me ask a question. When you started your firm 4 months ago, are they all new clients coming on, or did you bring some clients with you or buy some clients? What happened there?
I didn't purchase. I bought a very small handful with me that I'd picked up over the last couple of years. And in terms of acquisition, we've just picked up more and more clients each week. It's ridiculous. And they're business clients, the ones you wouldn't think that would take you up on your service. But yeah, no, it's conveying that value to people in terms of the time they'll save with Xero or with your service, and obviously the money in the end if they bundle bookkeeping with our firm as well. So it's just taking advantage of that technology and getting a good grip on it. I shouldn't be saying too much, give away too many of the secrets.
No, not at all. Look, you sound like a nimble provider here, Ben. If anyone dishes up by the sound of what you're doing, dishes up something, you'll probably dish up something even better.
That's it.
Next question came through. Well, I think, Ben, that if the profession can work together and change some of the bad behaviour from the 70s and 80s, basically, that seems to have entrenched in a bunch of firms, then it's going to be better for everyone, business community, being proactive, whatever it happens to be. Question, Ben, on your time billing. You're saying you know time billing, that's in arrears, you're priced up front. Graham asked this question 15 minutes ago, and he's asking of Sue and Russell, but I'll get you to do it as well, which is how do you monitor your performance of the price quoted for what you're going to achieve insofar as blowouts, tracking, that sort of thing. How are you going with monitoring the pricing and the margin on what you're doing?
Yeah, so I guess we've got the fixed price packages, and that there's a bit of margin in there to you're going to win on some and lose on others, of course, but we still keep timesheets, although we don't time bill, and I guess the benefit of that is we still keep what we call like an average hourly rate, and we've got a target average hourly rate that we want the client time to be, and that's how we, I guess, monitor that.
And so what is that number you're looking for, Ben, and how are you going against it?
We're aiming for 400, and actually I picked up an upfront paid value-based pricing engagement early May, and we worked out we hit about $1,000 an hour paid up front before we even started on that job. So I mean, you know, we get up to $1,000 an hour, you know, all the way down to, I guess, 200, 150, 100. But that
and what's
400.
What sort of work are you doing for this? These margins, Ben?
It's more of the, I guess, the for the riskier stuff, the advice and the recommendations on structuring. We've run a couple of planning sessions as well, so that's been really valuable for both us and learning how to run them better. But also the clients, they come away because, you know, clients don't usually think about their business. You know, they don't plan for it as much as, you know, they might plan for something like a holiday. So taking them away for half a day or a day, it's just really good to just show them a few things that we can help them with.
Awesome. Sounds like you're off and running. It sounds like you have a very solid firm there, Ben. Let's go now to Albert. I'm interested to hear, Albert, regarding the dentists and the doctor's surgery, etc. Oh, dentist surgery, sorry, and your thoughts on these 12 points and what you've been doing about it differently. Over to you, Albert.
I was going. Thanks, Rob. I was actually going to do a quick straw poll just to see out of my staff who wants to be a partner, but I hadn't quite got the opportunity. Because that will then tie in with the succession planning prior to that. But look, just to reiterate what most of the others have said, the time by rate is certainly a big area. I think clients really prefer value pricing and pricing up front. They know what they're there for, and I think nothing irks a client more than to receive an unexpected bill or receiving a $150 or $200 bill for a telephone call. Quite often it's a telephone call that's got the value add in it, and if you spend the time with the client explaining what you can do for them, you can certainly get more than the $150 or $200 for the phone conversation and lead in with more value add work after that. We're trying to combat the reduction of compliance work or the ability of clients to go elsewhere by tying in the compliance with the value add. So we do the compliance and then you're able to get the value add work with it, so it gets combined into one package. And usually the clients see it as one package, so they're not price competitive somewhere else. The value add, we find from a analysis and management of a client's business affairs, in the dental industry, they haven't seen the need as much. There's usually adequate money in the bank. They don't have problems paying their debts, etc. So they've usually gone on wistfully unaware of what we can do for them. However, in November last year, what was known as the CDS scheme, which was where if a patient had a chronic disease and they were referred by a doctor to a dentist for dental treatment, the government stumped up some $3,000 to $5,000 for dental work, and that was operating for a number of years and certainly kept dentists well paid over that period. That stopped in November, and there now seems to be more competition between dentists and less dental patients out there wanting to pay the fees. So a lot of them are looking at their bottom line and seeking advice on how they can actively pursue to get more patients and also to run their businesses more profitably. We're making them aware of what we can do from a value add point of view through running information seminars, which will make them aware of what we've got available for them. Because we do a lot of dental practices, we can actually benchmark not just practices against a whole group of practices. We can do similar type and size practices against each other, a little bit similar to what you do, Rob, between all the accounting practices. So you can see, because everyone likes to know how they're performing against their peers, so the dentists seem to appreciate that.
Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. Great summary. Thank you, everybody. You all went to the February or early March Remaining Relevant event we did, and I'm going to pick on you individually, and so my moderator's going to have to be pretty quick off the mark here. As we talk about the future and some of the topics I spoke about, I'm keen to understand some answers from you in a bit more depth as to what you've been doing. And the first one, we talk about 7 areas to combat these 12 changes of rising tides. The first one is all going to be at strategy. So I'm going to go to Russell really fast. So Russell, you've been talking about, so we're going to unmute Russell's line, please. You've been talking about a change in service offerings to your clients. That's going to be part of strategy. What was the trigger here for you to change your strategy to be more proactive with your clients?
To be honest, Rob, the trigger for us was we actually had a meeting with Xero, and we saw what Xero software produced for our clients. And the amount of detail the client had access to on a daily basis sort of made it what they need from us, I think, less valued. Because they look at us and say, well, I don't need you to ring you by my interim financials, Russell, because I can see it on Xero now. I understand my profit and loss statement. So we launched this. We thought, after we met with Xero, and Xero tried to get us online, the Andrew Watler there sort of suggested what else Xero could do, where they were going in the future with their programming. We thought, well, that's going to actually make a lot of our services defunct to some extent. So we thought we have to do something different about that to overcome that. And we looked at ratio analysis. We always try to add a bit of value to our work in the past. We don't just do tax returns. We always do a business performance report for our clients, although the level of that report's been the same for about 14 years. And we graph our GPs and other things for the client in that report, but we're looking for something more upmarket, more in-depth, more valuable to the client, more detailed. So identifying that sort of problem where Xero's coming on board to the cloud accounting, everyone's going on about that. I think it's fantastic, and QuickBooks and Mobile trying to follow, and all different programs. We thought we need to do something different, expand our reports to a service. We spent many months researching and looking and trying to do it ourselves. Business planning software from Mouse, for example, we brought that to that, yep. And that's when we identified, well, try everything and find what's best for our clients. And,
so I think what's important there, Russell, is the trigger has been for you that the technology is going to be doing tasks that you would have been doing in the past. That's basically what you've said.
Correct. And Gen Y comes out of university now. They understand all the technology and social networking. The older guys like us aren't really afraid with it. So we're trying to get into that mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, and not, you know, and CCH has said as partners in the seminar tour coming up, they did a research study that said that 64% of the 1,018 SMEs they surveyed, 64% said they will use technology to replace some of the functions that accountants do. Now, going back to a question Michael asked earlier on, that, you know, if we're losing our compliance work to overseas workers, then what's the point of going in the path of job scheduling? The point here is that you're not going to lose all your compliance. It's just going to be a lot of the processing work. Next question on efficiency. Ben, I open up the line to you. You're a new firm. You're cranking it by the sound of things. What are some of the key things you picked up from the Remaining Relevant seminar to be much more efficient in what you've been doing as a new firm?
I guess, as I said before, some of the things we've already implemented is the like the upfront billing and pricing, but yeah, the focus on technology that's just massively increased efficiencies from my experience at previous firms. It just keeps the things a lot more updated and live, and communication with the client is through the roof. So I mean that's probably the biggest thing, is the technology.
Okay. And certainly, as a new firm, are you 100% in the cloud yourself as a firm?
Exactly right. We don't have any servers in the office, so we sort of practice what we preach there, and we encourage people to do the same thing. So we use, most of our software is SaaS, so software as a service, yeah, we we encourage clients to also move that way if it's applicable or relevant for them. So and they follow suit. You know, they really appreciate, I guess, afterwards, after you've implemented something like you know, a cloud solution for them, they really see the value in it afterwards, even if they didn't quite see it beforehand.
Awesome. Well, while I've got you, Ben, I want to talk about the next topic, which is cash flow. You are, everyone on this call is pricing up front, which is something I've been banging on about for a dozen years or so, but you're also collecting up front. And you're doing it on a very high margin as well, which is just sensational. So I'm curious to know how the cash flow is going in your firm, vis-a-vis what you thought it might be, because at the seminar that you went to in Feb, you supplemented some ideas around that. What's it done for your cash flow as a new startup firm, these changes you've made?
Yeah, so obviously I still had to have some initial layout in terms of you know, equipment for the office, and I actually bought some WIP from the previous firm, so I had a bit of an outlay there. So, but the thing is, I've only I had a figure in mind in terms of an overdraft, and I've only touched into about 60% of that, and it's sort of paying back already. So it's in terms of cash flow, it's been great, and those price up front, pay up front jobs are just brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, keep doing what you're doing on that one. That's awesome. Next topic that we talk about in detail is people. And Sue, we're going to go over to you on that because you've been working this for over a year now. And certainly you talked about quarterly themes, you talked about meetings, and you've been overwhelmed, I think were your words, by the team involvement. Talk us through some of the things you've been doing with the team.
The first thing that we did was just after the Kickstart program, we actually got one of your guys in to run a team session. It was a whole day, and that was a very, very successful day. It actually, I think it made my team understand an accounting business, understand the risk that the owner of the business is under. It also gave them a chance to put forward some ideas and you know, do a bit of brainstorming on things that we could do better, and that has kind of continued on. Immediately we set in place, we do a 5 at 9:05, which is the team huddle, which I know I look forward to it every day. I think just about all of my team does. So regardless of who's here, who's not, it gets done. Everyone goes around and says what they want to achieve for the day. It opens up the lines of communication. We also implemented weekly team meetings, and one of the main focus of that weekly team meeting is an agenda item called Business by Design, where we're basically pulling the business apart and we're re-engineering it. So we're looking at all of the things that we do and the things that we do right and the things that we aren't doing quite well enough. The comment from a long-standing employee, she's been here for 12 years, was that she now feels much more involved, much more engaged. She knows where the business is heading, and because she's only a part-timer, it meant that she knows what's going on in the business, and she gets to put forward ideas and just, yeah, feels much more involved. We also do a quarterly meeting where we go through our results for the quarter, make sure that we've achieved our goals. Prior to that, I do a quarterly meeting with all of my team individually, and we they set their business goals, and they also have the opportunity to set personal goals if they choose to. We talk about what the business needs to do to enable them to achieve both the business goals and the personal goals, and that's been a really good system as well, where if you're only doing a performance review once a year, you kind of don't pick up things that are perhaps happening throughout the year that may be a problem. So doing those quarterly meetings with each of my team members, it kind of opens up the lines of communication. They can let me know if things aren't quite right, if they've got issues, if they've got problems, etc. So I think just those, and they're very small things, but they've just made an amazing difference to just the attitude and the environment in the office. If we achieve our quarterly goals, we then have a reward. Last Friday night was teppanyaki and karaoke, which was a very fun night. And that gets the team together, and we have a bit of fun, and we celebrate our successes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Sue. People development is going to be key. Next topic is marketing. Albert, we're going to go to you because you've got this niche of dentists and the dentists and the dental surgeries. So I'm curious to know with your benchmarking, number one, do you charge for it? That's a question that came through from the audience. But also, what sort of marketing are you doing to these dentists that you've picked up from us?
Okay. Well, the marketing side, because we're fairly well linked in with the Australian Dental Association, we put ourselves forward for speaking engagements at any of their seminars. They'll design some topics that they believe of interest, so I talk at those, and that is good from a marketing point of view. We're also in the process now of getting a second web site up and running as Albert the Dental Accountant, specifically with promoting our value-added services, seminars that we're running, so the dentists are aware of what we do. Also write magazine articles, again for the Australian Dental Association.
Yeah, Albert, you're good.
And
you're
also,
good.
Yep, I'm good, no worries.
Yep.
The articles, and they also bring in a lot of new clients from that point of view. For the benchmarking, we've only just started on that side to promote it, but yes, we are charging a separate fee to do that.
Awesome, and I love the fact that it's niche market, Albert. You know who your target market is, you know what you're all about, and many firms have more than one niche, but you're onto it, which is fantastic. Next topic we cover in some depth is sales. So for this one, I'm going to flip over back to Russell. So Russell, you have been, as you've started re-engineering your firm the last sort of 4 or 5 months since attending the seminar, you've targeting 35 clients here, you've got to make some new sales. How's that gone for you? What have you been doing differently to make sales?
I've actually been consulting with a outsourced marketing company called Mark De Silva at Concept Marketing. Mm-hmm. He's currently designing articles for us to go in the local papers. Other than that, it's been going on site to see our clients one-on-one. So the last 3 months, myself and one of my partners have been taking every second Friday. We take a turn, we go and see 2 or 3 clients, show them on what we can do for them, talk about general business issues, and tell us what else we can do for you. So more one-on-one, and spark their interest. We follow up with a written letter to them outlining the fee, the structure, and the approach. That seems to work quite well for existing clients. With regards to attracting new business, we found that more challenging, and that's why we outsourced to a marketing company. They're currently in the throes of designing adverts for the papers and a few other ideas they've got.
So Russell, what you've just described there, you've got some outsourced marketing going on to get some new business, which is awesome. But the sales aspect doesn't sound that difficult, if you like. You're visiting existing clients, you're asking some leading questions, and you're picking up new business.
Correct. Spot on.
And I think a lot of people get confused. Yeah, show what you do. I think a lot of people get confused as to what sales is all about, and it is not that difficult at all. It's more process, and your clients, as you said, Russell, earlier on, they've been wanting this for years. You just haven't done it for whatever reason.
That's correct. I've found it's just a service. We say we can now do this for you, and they think exactly what they've been looking for.
Awesome.
So, it's been very good.
Team, a couple of things. All these topics and one more, which we'll talk about in a moment, are covered in our upcoming seminar. We're doing it again, remaining relevant, June 12 to 31 July. Now, CCH are sponsoring the event. They're doing a small spot on technology, which will be up to the minute. But I'm presenting this thing. It's going to be a fantastic event. I want to leave, before we get to value-added services, just with a couple of points. First of all, many great comments. We've had just nearly 600 firms registered for this so far. We're coming around the countryside to a place near you. The firms that are on the line have already been last time. They've already been implementing, which is great, giving lots of good tips and ideas. Pricing structure, just take a minute. 165 in April. We're in May at the moment, 275 per person. Buy 3, get 1 free. So every 4th ticket's free. And what we're going to do, since we're in May, if you decide to send your team, we'll give you April prices, but by 5 p.m. today, $165 per person. Sign up today. So our last topic is going to be value-added services, and real quick. So I'm going to open up all the lines, if we can, with all our panelists, and to give a quick summary on the sorts, because you've all been doing it, the sorts of value-added service. I've got two questions for you. What value-added services, and if we can keep this to a minute each would be great, what value-added services have you been providing? Because it's certainly a topic we go through the Remaining Relevance seminar with you. And what you would advise the firms listening in, a few hundred firms, as to far as attending the Remaining Relevance seminar. So, Russell, you're first. What are these services, and what would you advise the firms listening in regarding the Remaining Relevance seminar?
Okay, we've introduced a few services. One is reviewing their current business structure. Two is their succession planning. And three is their KPI monitoring their business performance on a monthly basis, and helping them with business improvement. The approach we've taken has been more one-on-one directly at this stage, and the clients have had about 95% uptake on those services. So it was very rewarding for the client, something they needed guidance in and help with, and rewarding for us. So no, I'm very happy with that. We're looking at expanding those AF services also into more legal, offering them legal support through we have a relationship with another legal firm to give them wills and those sorts of services also. And also we set up a mortgage broking company which is now offering them finance. So all those services now can be sourced through our firm, which is what the clients are appreciative of.
Awesome. So, because a lot of people get confused, what am I supposed to be delivering here? That's a good little summary. And Russell, what would you advise firms in relation to the upcoming Remaining Relevance seminar that you went to back in February?
The seminar in February I found very rewarding. It gave myself and my partners and my managers complete focus. We lacked that, I think, in the firm. We became very complacent for a while. We thought the business was always going to come in the door. We seemed to be getting new clients quite regularly and just doing the same mundane compliance work. So doing something different, went to the seminar, and it just really changed our perspective on that. We came out looking for a new direction, and also we identified services that would really assist our clients, and we weren't doing it to the level we should have been. So the level of service we were offering for the value-added services was very flimsy. Remaining Relevant gave us that focal point to make it more professional and more serious delivery to the client, where they could perceive the benefit, and restructure how we deal with our clients, such as upfront billing, which is something I'd never thought of before.
Awesome.
I recommend the seminar to all the other firms out there.
Thank you, Russell. Over to you, Sue. What are the value-added services you've been offering, and what's your thoughts on what would you advise these other firms to do regarding the seminar coming up? Hello, Sue? I think Sue's muted at her end. Sue's unmuted from our end. Okay, Sue, we're just going to skip you and come back to you in a moment. Ben, over to you. So Ben, what value-added services have you been offering, and your advice to these firms regarding the seminar upcoming?
Yeah, so the services, I guess, is the planning sessions. We've done a couple of at the moment, but given we've only been running for a few months, we haven't had a chance to go beyond that. Apart from, as Russell mentioned, the business structure review, or the even like a big family structure. And in terms of Remaining Relevant, you'd be silly not to go, especially with that price. I paid considerably more, but I would have probably paid more than that again. So take the time out, and yeah, just go along, see what's happening in the industry, and there's tons of recommendations and practical things you will take away from it.
Well, certainly, Ben, thank you for that. One of the reasons it is quite economical is because CCH are tipping quite a lot of money into it, so they're subsidising as well. But I've got a gift for you coming up in a minute, so hang tight on that one. Thank you for that. And Albert, over to you. What are some of the value-added services you've been offering to your dental clients, and views on the Remaining Relevant seminar coming up?
Yes, Rob. Benchmarking, which I did mention before, that's still in the early stages, but we have been fairly active in advising on restructuring the way that the dental practices engage hygienists and contract dentists. We can clearly identify the amount of tax that they can save by restructuring, so we can put a a value on that. Typically it now takes us, because we've got it fully packaged up, it takes us a couple of hours to put it together, and we're charging between $3,000 and $5,000 to do that restructuring engagement. With the remaining relevant seminar, we actually closed the office for the day and took everyone, including administration staff, down to the remaining relevant seminar. We found it exceptionally good insofar as it got everybody onto the same page, and we now have all of the team looking for opportunities where they can move away from the compliance work and add value to our clients. So it's a particular focus that we've got from going to that seminar.
Awesome. Thank you, Albert. And I believe we've got Sue back again now. So, Sue, what are these value-added services you've been offering by title or type, and your views on the attendees here sending some of their team members to the remaining relevant seminar? Sue, we've lost you again. She came, she went. Never mind. Not too sure what's happening with you there, Sue. So, team, I'm going to wrap up. First of all, a gift. And a gift to our 4 panelists. It's been awesome to have you here. For the upcoming events where we're going back to the cities where you are, you can send, if you choose to, other people that you've got hired, other people missed out, as our guests, with our compliments as a thank you for being on us today. For everyone else, certainly, as I mentioned before, that $165 per person, save $110. You have to use the promo code CHANGE. If you register online, go to remainingrelevant.com.au, and that ends at 5 p.m. today. So thank you to Russell, Sue, Ben, and Albert. Really appreciate your wisdom. You've given lots and lots of good ideas. Some of the questions I apologise we couldn't get to. We'll come back to you later on those, basically on some of the pointed ones. But certainly, Russell, Sue, Ben, and Albert, really appreciate your insights, your inspiration, inspire Ben, there you go, inspiration, your thoughts and your observations regarding what firms need to do. And as I said before, as a thank you, you can send additional people. It's the same event again, so they don't need to attend twice to the event. We encourage everyone to attend upcoming in June, July. So all the best, everyone. Thanks again, Russell, Sue, Ben, and Albert, and everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.